online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Left foot, right foot. All right, good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft. You know, during the break, Justin and I always do like COVID reviews and breakdown. I was telling him that I was travel shamed. When I went to Utah, and then I just decided to stay because why come back here? But when I did have to come back here, the ticket agent was, and I don't want to say what airline because I love this airline, but I had a bad moment with one employee.
Yeah.
And she said, well, our nation is undergoing tremendous uncertainty right now. You should not be traveling.
Oh.
And there's nobody in the plane except for me and my two kids, and then a mom and a baby, and then some random dude on a 787.
Because it didn't affect her job, right?
Well, I mean, please. People did a lot of things during that time, those 3 years of hell, I'd like to call it. But one good thing that happened is people came out. Mothers united. And that's with that, we welcome to the program Jacqueline Toboroff. She's author of Supermoms Activated. And she has an article on foxnews.com about her journey into being a conservative living in liberal New York. Good morning, Jacqueline. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you so much for having me. I apologize to your listeners. I have a small touch of laryngitis, but I'm good.
Okay, well, you sound good, so we'll keep on keeping on until you tell us otherwise. So tell us why you wrote this book, and what was it, the COVID and the restrictions during COVID that motivated you to do it?
Yeah, you know, I would say there was a time stamp between 2020 and 2022. 2020 was the beginning of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, as well as BLM, which brought in CRT. And 2022 were the primaries. And between these 2 years, it was already clear concerned parents were being labeled domestic terrorists. And the Biden administration, as well as the teachers union, were looking to rewrite and erase history. And I was determined to preserve these voices as a timestamp for what I think is just the pivotal change in America.
And so you featured 12 different moms, or what's the book about? Supermoms
Correct.
Activated.
So Supermoms Activated, 12 profiles of hero moms leading the American revival, features 12 Supermom warriors. One is Tina Descovich. She is co-founder of Moms for Liberty that has been responsible for transforming school boards into pro-parental right majorities. Another one is Callie Fontanilla. She's a former public school teacher who exposed the implicit CRT curriculum within public schools. It is crazy to hear her stories, and specifically the stories of her students when they were faced with the CRT. Then there is actress Samara Armstrong, who ran for mayor of Arizona. While she lost, she is responsible for helping to lift the mask mandate in Arizona. There's also Astra Namani, who has a case before the Supreme Court, and if she wins, it will set precedent to disallow race from being part of the admissions in K through 12. If you remember, Harvard just lost the case against affirmative action in its admissions policy. So I have 12 moms. Another is Sarah Gonzalez. She's a host on Blaze TV. She was one of the first. She went viral on Tucker Carlson for exposing the all-age drag shows geared towards children. So powerhouses are within.
Yeah. So this is more about than just COVID, right?
Oh, 100%. This is about parental rights. This is about attacking woke from various angles, and more importantly, these 12 women provide the blueprint for every single mother and taxpayer, because we all fund this educational complex. We all fund the illegals. We all fund the open borders. We all fund our demise. This is for any super mom or super dad or super grandmother that has had it, that does not recognize his or her country and recognizes that the American revival is underway, and these 12 moms have lit the match that has turned on the prairie fire.
Wow. Ms. Toboroff, what do you say to that mom? Because I talk to a lot of moms who are afraid to speak out because of the onslaught of attacks that they know will happen once they speak out. What encouraging words would you say to that mother who is upset with what's happening but is afraid to speak out because she's in fear?
This is the best question because everyone that speaks to me about this is in fear. They don't know what to do. And all I can say to you is this. There are more of us than there are of them. And what is holding us back is this perception that we're going to be docs, lose our job. Yes, that might happen. But the truth of the matter is, the longer we do nothing, the longer that horror show continues. Critical mass is vital here. And if we all rise up, they can't arrest us all. They can't label us all domestic terrorists. There are more of us than them, and there is more at stake now than ever. It's our children.
And you are a conservative in liberal New York City, correct? Or have you moved
Correct.
like many others? And have you lost any friends over this?
You know what? I have always been a conservative. I have not lost one friend. I would say the majority of my friends are Democrats because I live in Manhattan. I have not lost one friend. This is another myth they use to chain us down. Many of my friends who are Democrats, they're not that wacko element. You know, they might be a little bit more pro-environment or, pro-climate or this stuff, which I differ with them on, but they're not wackos. They still value safety. They still value solid core education based on merit. And the truth is, when I helped organize Moms for Lee before Lee Zeldin lost when he was running for governor against Hochul, the coalition that I put together was predominantly independent and Democrat moms. They had had enough. And just like the conservative moms in New York City or any blue city, they're not sacrificing their kids. They're not on board with sexual exploitation of their children. They're not on board with lowering the standards or with any of this stuff.
Gosh, I know. And then the whole drag queen and bingo, we were going to have, drag queen bingo at a library in a suburban facility here. How did that transfer? Who in the world thought that was a good idea? Or is that just a way of indoctrination?
Yeah. No one thinks it's a good idea. I will tell you two things. This is breaking news. I was on War Room last night, and I covered this, and I started discussing it briefly on Fox. There are two things that are happening right now that your listeners should be aware of. New York State Department of Education has made gender affirmation the focus for this coming school year, this September. This starts age 2.5, 2.5-year-olds and up. It will affect every color, every race, every gender, public school, private school, independent school. No one will be left behind. They are going to help kids transition, and they will help kids conceal it from their parents, and they will encourage the kids that are transitioning to rely on a trusted adult. What you should know, and any of your listeners should know that are not living in New York State, is you are not exempt. The largest teachers union in America is making required summer reading a book called Gender Queer. Yep. The trusted adults priming these kids will be hopped up on gender queer. This is as 2/3 of our nation's children are not fourth grade level proficient in reading and math. This is a travesty, and the panacea, the remedy to this, is my book, Supermoms Activated. Wow. It will arm you with everything you need to know for this coming September and how to push back.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing in Chicago public schools. Yeah, that you don't need your parents' permission.
Yeah, I think
if you're 12 and up.
Yeah, I think Dennis Prager said it best. They're over sexualizing kids and desexualizing adults. That's basically what you have happening here.
So, Jacqueline,
I just got chills. Yeah.
I know. The book, I can't wait. I'm going to buy this book. Yeah. I'm going to read this. It's called Supermoms Activated. Jacqueline Toboroff is the author. Thank you so much for coming on, and we really appreciate your time and efforts for this fight.
I appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
And I hope your voice gets better, but you sounded fine. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dan Migatz, co-owner and CFO of AM Woodland Outdoor Design in Mundelein, and a new customer of Signature Bank. We specialize in the creative design and construction of outdoor living